Right, this is the second in the series. It's just gone 7 PM. It's the night before the flight. This is not the detail of how you plan the flight the day before. This is just some idea of some of the things I look at. We're going to try and do this in under 5 minutes. And as a reminder, I am a PPL. I'm not an instructor. I'm a fairly low hour PPL of about 130 hours. So hopefully you might give me some feedback and tell me some things I didn't already know. And I might be ambitious and think you might even see something you find quite helpful on here. So I have a bad memory. I write everything in lists. I check the lists a week before, a day before, the night before, the morning of. So number one, plan the route in SkyDemon. So here we go. Here's SkyDemon. Get the app, pay for it. It's well worth it. There is nothing as good as this. It will fly you around in the sky. It will help you with your route. It's going to tell you what heights to fly at. It's going to tell you where the controlled airspace is. It's going to give you NOTAM info. It's going to give you weather info. Plan that route on here first. That just gets your head in the game, lets you think about where you're flying, what you're doing tomorrow. So we planned our route on SkyDemon. Stop drinking water. That's just a reminder. I'll check that in the morning. That is the worst thing, getting stuck in an aircraft and being desperate for the toilet. So Met forms 214 and 215, your general weather and your spot wind. Let's get those up. I've got everything for flying saved in a little favorites tab. I recommend you do the same. So we got TAFs and METARs. Have a look through. Look at the airports you're going to be flying near and flying in and out of. Get the weather for those. Make sure there's nothing scary in there at this stage. Then you've got your 215. So we haven't got tomorrow, so we're going to have to come back and check that later. And your 214 for your spot wind. And again, that's going to give you a general feel of what the weather's like. You need to do that the night before and the morning of, so you can make that call. Calculate the wind and mark on your map. So calculating the wind, we talked about windy yesterday. So that is using your windy app. That's telling us the clouds. So we're going to navigate to wind on here. And we are going to take our wind amount and our direction, and we're going to mark that on our map in a corner, and that is helpful for when you're flying around generally, and if you have any engine problems and you need to do a forced landing in the event of an engine failure, you know where to fly. So we've calculated our wind, we've marked that on our map. Complete PLOG. How are you going to complete a PLOG? Well, you could do it old school and draw it all the way out, or you've done your flight here on SkyDemon, then you're going to click pilot log and you're going to get your PLOG if it comes up. That is probably over multiple pages. It's going to tell you how long your flight is, 2 hours 17. You're going to print that out, you're going to take it with you on the day. Awesome. You've now got your PLOG. You're good to go. You need to make sure that's set for the day and the time that you're flying to get you the right weather. Check windy for wind. I've already done that. I don't know why I've got that again. And also use the windy app to check the cloud. Make sure you're going to be okay for cloud. Fan lines on the map. Again, once you've done that PLOG and you understand the wind, you need to draw your fan lines on the map. So if you end up slightly off route, lots of people will leave that out now. Fine if it's not a windy day and it's a route you're used to. That's okay, but anything complicated, I suggest you do that, and I suppose I would have to just suggest you do it generally because I am a lowly PPL, so listen to your instructors. We've got our SkyDemon PLOG, we've got our windy, NOTAM info. This website is great. You need to go on NATS and do your narrow route brief, but you've also got notaminfo.com. And what you're going to do in here, you're going to set it up on the day you fly, the height you fly, and you're going to click around on your route and you're going to look at all these NOTAMs. Oh, look, there's a crane at 200 feet. Don't really care. Fine, move on. And you're going to look for anything on there that's going to impact your route. Right, what else have we got? Fuel plan. So I've got a tab in here for a fuel plan. With all the formulas built into it. You can get that in your POH as well. You need to do a fuel plan before you fly to make sure you've got enough fuel. Weights and balances. Again, I hate paper, so I have extracted the relevant paperwork into a PowerPoint where I can draw some red lines across, and I can move those around. And I've also pre-populated it for certain people on certain flights, but I'll obviously need to change that based on the temperature on the day. High temperatures are gonna extend your ground roll either side, so worth looking at. So understand your takeoff run, your landing run, and how big is the runway you're using. Does that fit, or are you going to go piling off the end of it? Crosswind, so work out your crosswind. I again have a tab for that, and you can use the clock face rule. But again, I'm pumping in the wind direction here, the wind speed, the runway, and it's going to give me a crosswind of 2 knots, whatever, that's fine. If that starts getting near the 10 mark, again, as a lowly PPL, I get a little bit worried and I think about it a bit more, and I make sure my crosswind landings are good. Ensure you have a chart from Pulleys. So your Pulleys book, find where you're flying to and from, Black Bush, understand where you're flying in and out of, know the runways, know the noise abatement areas, know the height you need to be flying your circuits. Call ahead to any airfields you're going to land at. Well, you've got your ATC numbers in the Pulleys guides that you've just checked, and most of them have a website that they prefer you to use to PPR, so make sure you do that. COVID means you need to book out in some places as well. Time of sunset, I'm taking off at 11 AM tomorrow. If I'm still flying at sunset, I won't be because I have no fuel left, but if you're flying any later, it's worth checking. 8:10 sunset tomorrow, so not a worry for me. And then I'm going to work back from that and know, okay, what's the latest I can leave. Pulleys chart we've read. Kit list tab. I've got a little kit list tab here because I am terrible at forgetting stuff, particularly my sunglasses, so I make a little kit list tab. There's all my crap. It generally goes in that bag. This is my overflow, which I need to move across what I need for the day. My chart, up to you whether you want one of those. I find it not had to use it yet, which is great, but I would certainly prefer that rather than all over my trousers and all over the aircraft. So that'll be one for you to decide. And then landing fees paid. Okay, well, I'm not sure why that's there because we're not going to do that before we fly. We're going to do that after we've flown. And then the last one is, and this is the most important for me, understand the runway and the approach. So again, get yourself to the relevant website, and it's going to have pilot info, and there's going to be an area on here that's going to tell you about what runway you're on. So let's say we're on 25. It's going to give me all the details about noise abatement areas, how to fly the circuit. Really internalize that the day before you fly. Well, that's what I do anyway. I find that the most taxing thing coming into land. What way am I going? What am I avoiding? It's a high load situation. There's lots you're doing there. And then the final one that isn't on my list but needs to go on is the weather school, Simon Keelan Weather School. I just watched the video again. Give myself a little reminder on the weather. So that's my list there. Get on SkyDemon, plan your route. Once that's done, print your PLOG, apply it onto your map. Drinking water and caffeine, stop that 3 hours before the flight. Check your Met Aviation weather forecast 214-215. Mark your wind on your map. We've printed our PLOG. We've checked windy for our wind. We've put our fan lines on. SkyDemon PLOG we've got. Windy we've got. Check notam.info. Do a narrow route brief as well. Fuel plan, weights and balances, takeoff run. Those two, you know, if it's a flight you do every week, you probably don't need to worry so much. Work out your runway headings, work out your crosswind, how worried do you need to be. Check your chart in Pulleys. You can print it off the websites often as well. Call ahead, PPR for any airfields you're landing. Check the time of sunset and give yourself a latest time of departure. Pulleys chart we've covered. Kit list, write a kit list, make sure you've got everything. Pay your landing fees when you get home and update your logbook. Understand the runways, that's the big one for me. So that is my night before flying. That is the checks that I'm doing the night before I fly. Hopefully you found that helpful. I didn't quite make it in 5 minutes, but I think I'm just under 10. So please, any feedback, any thoughts in the comments, And if there's any particular areas you want me to do more on, let me know, and I'll delve into a bit more detail, and I'll give you my view as just another PPL. Thanks for watching. Bye.